Unless otherwise indicated, all the following scripture quotations are taken from the Holy Bible, New Living Translation, with copyright by Tyndale Foundation, used by permission of Tyndale House Publishers, all rights reserved.
In my quest to try and understand the mother and daughter-in-law dynamic, we're heading to Quora to take a look at some of the most pertinent questions about mother and daughter-in-law relationships. Let's have a look. Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am Peachy and you're most welcome to be here when I am cracking my knuckles. I need to stop doing that. Anyway, yeah, so welcome to my channel. I'm still trying to understand the mother and daughter-in-law thing. I'm trying to be sympathetic towards mother-in-laws. I'm a mom myself. I've got a son, and even though he's only 4 at this point, eventually he's going to start bringing girls home, all that kind of stuff. And I want to be accommodating because I want to treat my son like an adult. And so I'm trying to understand this dynamic so that when the time comes, things can potentially be easier. But I'm also trying to be cautious of whether or not daughters-in-law can be the problem. So let's listen to what Quora has asked and try and see if we can answer some questions. And yeah, okie dokie. So here we have a question on Quora which says, do mother-in-laws feel bad for treating their daughter-in-laws bad? I don't think so. I honestly don't think so. I think that that's because they don't see what they're doing as bad. There's a couple people, I believe, that mentioned that as well in the comments. Someone named Vinny says, not all mother-in-laws treat their daughter-in-laws bad. Sometimes it's the other way around. Yeah, there are some people in the comments that are like, they don't necessarily feel like remorse for that. You see, remorse comes when you feel that you've actually done something wrong. So what this is indicating is that a lot of them don't feel they're doing something wrong. They feel that the daughter-in-law often deserves the treatment that she's receiving for the fact that she stole something from them. A lot of the time they feel this way. I can't speak for all mothers-in-law. There are some really wonderful mothers-in-law, but from what I've been reading over a couple of comments here, this seems to be the general consensus that mothers-in-law often don't feel bad for treating their daughters-in-law bad. Next question. What will make a daughter-in-law treat her mother-in-law badly? A lot of things, really. A lot of things. And I think that this is something that mothers-in-law need to be aware of. Your daughter-in-law is coming into your family. You've raised your family a certain way. You had your kids a certain way. You are not necessarily aware if your daughter-in-law came from an abusive situation or a combative home situation or had a contentious relationship with her own mother and is expecting that kind of contention from you. So as the older person usually in the relationship, it's your responsibility to be the mature person as well, unfortunately, because a lot of mothers-in-law can't be mature when it comes to people that are not their children. And the thing that I'm trying to say is that you've got to be cautious about how you approach the daughter-in-law. If you make the space that she's coming into a safe space, then chances are she would treat you and the family members better. Like I said, you don't know where she came from, you don't know what she went through throughout her life to make her feel guarded, to make her feel angry towards parents or mothers in general. You don't even know if she's got a personality or mental disorder, which could also contribute to how she treats you and her husband and her family. If you love your son, you will work on that relationship with his wife so that you can make sure things are healthy all around for everybody. And that's what I think. So yeah, so there's a whole bunch of reasons why a daughter-in-law would treat her mother-in-law badly. Also, if you're treating her badly, she might treat you badly back. You know, that's just that reactive kind of abuse that can happen. When, for example, the mother-in-law is being nasty to the daughter-in-law, she will reciprocate that, and this dynamic will just make everyone unhappy. So we really need to work on understanding people and being compassionate. Next question. Is every mother-in-law or daughter-in-law relationship bad? I'm so frightened. I don't want this. That's such a sweet person that has asked this question, because you can see that their heart is in trying to keep family together and trying to do things together. I would say that not every relationship is bad, because I've seen a bunch of TikToks of people who are so much enjoying being a part of their new family, and that's wonderful. But a lot of the time things can clash when you've got really strong personalities. Mums, you need to remember that if you are a strong, confident, powerful woman, your son is going to be attracted to women that are like you. He's going to be attracted to women like that. And that can often also be a reason why two women are clashing when they should be really working together, because they share so much in common. Your son's going to be attracted to a strong woman because that's what he grew up with. That's what he admired his whole life. And that's what he wants as a part of his life. And I'm assuming that he would think you'd approve of that. And so we need to think about these things when our children get married. We need to think about these things as daughters-in-law going into a family. You need to have open conversations and maybe even encourage some therapy. Go with your mother-in-law to a therapist and say, right, let's air our grievances. You can talk as much crap about me as you want to the therapist, and we'll sit there and we'll work on everything together, because I think that that's going to help. And it's going to make things healthy, because that's always my concern. Next question. Why do some daughters-in-law treat their mother-in-law and her husband, sisters and brothers so badly? This can also depend on the situation, as I've said, that the daughter-in-law comes from, but also if the mother-in-law, parents, family members are treating her husband in a way that she does not approve of, or feels is toxic, or thinks is toxic, or is taking advantage, she might hate y'all because she loves him. So that's something to think about as well, and to try and work on, because sometimes we take advantage of people in our families because we think it's okay. We think if they are there, so we'll just do X, Y, and Z, and then it will be fine. But when someone else is coming from the outside, who's got that different experience, like I mentioned, they are going to probably have a problem with that. And they're going to be like, no, you're not going to treat my husband like this. You're taking advantage of him. And it's a good thing that we can learn from each other in those instances. Next question. Is it a bad sign if a daughter-in-law and mother-in-law don't get along? Yes, I think it's a very, very bad sign. I think it's a serious sign, and I think it should be taken seriously, because this kind of relationship can divide your whole family. I can't tell you how many TikToks, posts, messages, Twitter notes, posts, or whatever that I've seen about people dividing their families because of this contention between mother and daughter-in-law relationships. We need to work together to stay together. You want your grandchildren in your life and your son in your life, you've got to learn to work with the daughter-in-law even if you don't like her. She's got to learn to work with the mother-in-law even if you don't like her. We've got to try and work this thing out so we can stay a family, because once you have someone that is married into your family, you are connected all the time until your kids are older and moving on and having their families of their own. You are always going to be connected in some way, and it's hard, it's difficult, but we've got to work towards working together. Next question. Do mothers-in-law have a bad reputation when often daughters-in-law are the source of greater problems? This is a very problematic question, because you are already putting the two people against each other and have already decided who is the worst of the two. You're saying the daughters-in-law are the problem, and you're saying mothers-in-law have a bad reputation. That's a big problem, because not every situation is the same. Situations will be unique to lots of different people, like I said, based on their background, but also because you are discounting the fact that just being stubborn and being an immovable person on certain subjects can create serious problems in relationships. And a lot of mothers-in-law can be really stubborn because I raised my boy, this is how he's going to live, this is how he's going to do things. And a lot of daughters-in-law, especially like I said, if they're confident women, they want to come in and say, no, this is better because I've learned from experience, this is better. And so they don't know how to meet in the middle, and they don't want to work together on it. So mothers and daughters-in-law, neither one is necessarily bad, but what happens is when you treat each other badly, you're treating everybody in your circle badly, because they're all going to be hurt by this relationship. So I think that the greatest problem is that neither one of the two in a lot of situations can get along. Okay, let's do 2 more questions. Do bad mothers-in-law ever realize they lost good daughters-in-law in the whole process of pushing them away and making them feel like outsiders? To be honest with you, I don't think so. A lot of mothers-in-law that fight with their daughters-in-law and just dislike them for just the simple sake of dislike, they have ego problems. They are egotistical. And sometimes the reverse can be said as well about daughters-in-law, that they could have ego problems as well. So an egotistical person is going to do everything to preserve that ego. And they are not going to consider anything that is conflicting in nature possibly a narcissistic person as well, they are not going to consider anything that is going to make them think or feel that they were in the wrong, that they are doing the wrong thing, or that they did something that is contrary to their beliefs, or like something that is contrary to making them feel and think that they are a good person. So I think that a lot of mothers-in-law lose beautiful, stellar, wonderful daughters-in-law due to their own attitudes, and because of the simple fact that they are like, nope, she deserves to be out of here because I don't approve. My son needs to be with someone that I want him to be with or I approve of. And unfortunately, she will have possibly lost the daughter she could have gained in that experience. So I do not think that a lot of people who are egotistical in nature would think about it. Maybe, I don't know, maybe God will open their eyes a couple of years later when they've got a really awful person who's actually treating them much worse than their previous daughter-in-law. You never know. But the truth of the matter is, chances are they won't. And I think that egotistical daughters-in-law would feel the same way, where they don't really care for their mothers-in-law and like might have lost a good mother-in-law in the process as well. Last question. Why do mothers-in-law always get bad rep? In my family, it's my daughter-in-law that treats my son's entire side of the family like garbage. Once again, you have to try and integrate. You have to try and integrate. There's a reason she's upset. Have any of you asked her why is she so angry? And not asked your son to ask her, but actually gone to ask her. Because you haven't asked her. You're not treating her like a human being. You're not actually making her feel like she's part of the family. Is it any wonder she feels angry and nasty towards other people? I mean, gosh, sometimes I read these questions and I think about mothers and daughters-in-law relationships, and I think, wow, if somebody treated your son the way you treat your daughter-in-law, you would tell him, get out of that situation, that's abusive as all hell. I think that you deserve better. So your daughter-in-law deserves better from you. And you deserve better from your daughter-in-law in reverse as well. People need to learn to work together. Once a family has assimilated, you need to learn to work together. It's not going to be easy with two strong personalities, two strong, confident women, but you can work together. It is a possibility. And at least that's what I think. And I hope that people everywhere can start learning how to get along despite having differences in opinion and different upbringings. So yeah, that's been a couple questions from Quora. Let me know what you think in the comments, and please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Let's go to our scripture of the day. Your scripture of the day comes from Jeremiah 27 verse 22, which says, "They will all be carried away to Babylon and will stay there until I send for them, says the Lord. Then I will bring them back to Jerusalem again." Okie dokie, well that's from me. I hope that you have an awesome day further, and I hope that if you are in such a contentious relationship with your mother-in-law, that you can at least try and repair it. Please head to therapy with your mother-in-law and have an absolute powwow. Just like go out and say the worst crap that you can about each other and work on healing so that you can work together and understand where each other comes from. Because I really think that this division comes from a lack of understanding and a lack of a willingness to be understanding towards each other. But anyway, please enjoy your day further because you absolutely deserve it. Bye!
그대 잠깐 눈을 붙일 때